I still love that intro video. It's so good. Thank you, Norma.
You're welcome.
Welcome, everyone. It's Sunday. Sunday vibes, fun day. What you get up to today? I, for one, did a pretty big hike out in nature, testing my limitations. I was gone for about 4 hours, which is, probably about 4 times longer than I normally go, and a heck of a lot steeper. But it was beautiful just to be out in nature. And it was really interesting because I've done this hike before, probably a couple times, but many years in between. And on this time, I noticed all the trees that are bent. So I could tell where the energy lines are running. And that trail itself is a huge energy line. And so I came back and tried to have a nap. And no, so I'm like, okay, I've activated myself again. And meanwhile, Norma Jean's in a huge study mode in reference to sovereign soul and liberating yourself. But today's topic is the key code. And Norma Jean, I'm going to let you explain that and how you doing today.
I'm doing wonderful. Well, like I said, the key code is just basically it's a metametrics that helps you to understand the archetype of being birthed here in this realm, which tells you and gives you a general clue and idea about the energies of how things intermingle in the 3D level realm. Because when you come to understand that each realm is what you would say managed by different levels of energies. And as we raise our vibratory frequency and rate, as far as our understanding of self, where we're at, what we are intermingling with, we come to understand that when we understand the energies, we understand how the programs that, this systematic institutionalization that we all have been a part of, we begin to understand how those energies interact with us. And it helps us to understand the archetypes, which are your planets, because it goes stars, planets, and then your zodiac sign. So this, to me, and what I've come to understand is that when you understand those levels of energies, then you begin to understand how those energies will work with you or they work against you. So what happens is that the archetypal key code is just basically metametrics, where it helps you to understand the life path and the destiny path, which the life path is, the
which
soul.
Is part of genealogy, just so those that have had their genealogy. Don't forget to go back and have a look at it.
Right. So, and your destiny is for the form. So when you get to understand how these energies work, we all know that there's, just like us, there's those dual energies of the understanding. There's the masculine and the feminine. But this is more of the essence of the energy of understanding that how we interact in this realm, in this world of form, is understanding that our interaction is very vitally important to our well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we do is when we look back on our past as reflexive, purposes, then to relive something, when we do it from this position as we've aged, which means we've had time here. So when we look at the horoscope or we look at astrology deals with time. So when you understand in those energetics of, as you're continuing to have these experiences, you have those experiences because what you're doing is you're marking those experiences in time because they're utilized as a reflective position of who you were, where you were, what you understood, what you went through. And when you come to understand more and more about those energies, and you understand how they work together or how they might have been bucking, then you get a better feel for how to manage who you are in this experience. So there's, like I said, there's a life path number, which deals with the soul. And then there's your destiny number, which deals with the form. So you understand that there's the as above, so below, as within, so without. And when you understand these energies and you come to comprehend what they mean as far as their influence or their assistance, you manage how to
Navigate.
interact, right? Navigate more in more of a conscious state, an awareness state, because you begin to understand the mechanics of the systems, but also how the soul comes here knowing what it needs to know already. And then it utilizes the DNA to tap into those knowings, because when you utilize the form to have an experience, it activates that DNA, it activates that information that resides within the DNA blue code, the print.
Yeah.
Blueprint. And this is how we begin to understand how to navigate our lives better.
Perfect. Beautifully said. And so part of the title of today's show, and we'll go into an example of Norma and go through some of this to help you understand. And so I'm being guided to say this. One, my entire life, and one of the ways I amplify, learn, is by connecting with the right people. And every reading or interaction I've had has always been a confirmation. What the other person is picking up in my field, in my energy, is generally a confirmation, and I'm already intuitively doing it. So it's not good or bad to connect with others, but it's definitely, now's the time to connect more with self, because until you truly understand you, and that was great because I didn't have that confirmation before. And then once I had that, I'm like, I'm just going to keep following my intuition, even though the programming says you need to be further ahead, you should be doing this, da 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 da. No, set, wait. I've gone through 6 months. I've never sat like this for 6 months. And beautiful soul Tamara, regarding the astronomy of it, has clearly explained why the last 5 years has been a bit more challenging. It's been very activating, but the more you're within a structure that you don't resonate with, the more challenging it can become. And so what has been going on, and especially in the last year for both of us, and for lack of a better term, is this now the ability that we're going to be able to take everything we've known, everything we've learned, activate and support others by getting you to understand the energies of it and never have fear again. You've got nothing to fear, but you've got to overcome your own fears. Nobody can do it for you. We can certainly guide you, but you're going to come up with challenges. You're going to be faced with challenges. That's part of this. For the opposite of that dark challenge is up into the light further, more expansion, ascension, whatever you want to call it. And then every time you navigate that and you hit your edges and it starts to feel a little wobbly and you're like, okay, stabilize. And then you stabilize, go down a little bit. Okay, now ready to expand again. And so each time you contract less and you expand more. And so this is part of this beautiful process of this. But again, nobody can do it for you, but we're really grateful to be able to guide souls through it and see the shift and change within them, which is profound. So yeah, just wanted to share that. And we have this title as Sovereign Soul. Before you get onto the key code, do you want to explain what Sovereign Soul is?
Sovereignty is for the soul.
Yeah.
Not for the form. Liberation is for the form.
Yeah.
And this is and I need you, I want to be able to convey this. This is my understanding, because probably anything throughout this period in time where it comes to spirituality is that if there's anything I've come to understand, it's a lot simpler than everyone is expressing it. And what I mean by that is, when we want to take the time and we put the effort and our intention into understanding a specific position, spot, place, esoteric, exoteric, in that we just want to do the study because we just want to know something, that specific, whether it be that it's meditation, or it be that it's qigong, or it be that it's understanding hermetics, or it be that it's you're wanting to know agnosticism, because
universal laws, energy showers.
Right. But the one thing that I've come to understand is that the more I just did what little bit of snippets of research I did into each of these levels, it all means the same thing. It's just expressed and conveyed in different ways, different levels, different way of speech, so to speak, because it was for that specific area or that specific culture or whatever it may be. So the like I said, it's if you can understand just the simplisticness of things, begin with simplicity, because what happens is you begin to approach yourself more in a position in place of easement, instead of saying I'm behind, or I need to study this, or there's got to be something. Soul sovereignty is about getting to understand what has been your experiences, because they're yours. That is the one thing nobody can take from you, and is the one thing that nobody can distort for you except for yourself, if it's something that you're just not at the space and place of coming to that full higher perspective of. So our experiences are ours. And when you come to understand those experiences were things that taught you about this place, whether it be that it was something where we were, a little bit manipulated in our experiences, and we were told so much, well, this is what it is, and this is what it is, and it should be this way, and you should be approaching it that way. No, that's where we were manipulated from the systematic level of things, because the last thing the system wants is for you to understand that you're so much more than they wanted you to know, because they're utilizing that more for their system. So if there's anything I've come to understand about this in my own way, is that I hold an enormous amount of knowledge.
It's scary.
But my walk became simple when I come to understand that sovereignty is for the soul, liberation is for the form. So when we come to understand that in the sovereignty of the soul, what we're doing is recognizing the system that placed the programming of the brain to control the mind in its perspective or perception of what it's experiencing. The soul, when you come to that sovereignty of the soul, is where you step back and you use that reflective time to understand your experiences is what taught you the understanding of this place, of this realm. That the soul, whenever you sit and you have that reflective, what I come to experience was, as soon as I just let go and just said, okay, just show me everything there is to show me about my experiences, what they mean. I have no judgment. I want the clarity. I want the truth. I want the, the complete full understanding of all of what this meant for me up to this point. And that takes a lot of courage. It takes an enormous amount of courage to sit it with yourself and everything that you are reflecting upon and seeing the choices that you made. You got to go easy with yourself because you're just coming into the understanding, which we have been for a while, where the manipulation has been lying. So that's where I tell you, you've got to remove the systems from your mind. You must recognize what the systems utilize as the programs to keep us in that lower self-worth and value position. You never lost the energetic of the understanding of that. It was just being utilized for the system. So all you're doing is through the sovereignty of the soul is taking that back and giving it to self and forgiving self, removing the cloaks that has been hiding the yoke around your neck that bears the weight of your feelings and your guilt and shame and things like that you carried, that were taught to you, that was not natural for you. However, do not take it that it was not a gift, for it was. For this is what you came here to experience. The gift of the experience of the ability to ask a question that the soul says, I want to know this in the form way. I want to know this on the material level of my experience, so that way I do not question the knowing I've come in with.
Beautifully put. And Kriba, we'll get to your question in just a moment. I just wanted to sort of sum this up in another way so that it can be locked right in for you guys, just so you can totally grasp it. So for me, it's whatever memories come up that need to be looked at from a new perspective. So if something's showing up, I'm not digging for it. I've always said, show me what I need to know. Guide me on what is important and relevant. Sometimes it's a song that comes in and the lyrics are important. Sometimes it's a phrase. Sometimes it's memories that come up that I can look at from a new perspective, because my perspective now is very different than my perspective where I may have played a victim or a perpetrator or a rescuer. As a famous rescuer, I'll rescue everybody. And so that little triangle. And so it's to not judge any of it, and to be able to recall those things and go, oh, but that experience taught me this. So look at it from all sides now, from give and take and still somehow. So, right? I don't know life solutions. So you can. This is the gift. You've done nothing wrong. There's nothing you need to regret. It is all divinely perfect. And from somebody that's, been an addict living on the streets to, dysfunctional as all can be, until I realized I was the common denominator. But I don't think it would have happened any sooner, because I came in with too much fight. I'm not here to play in the system. I'm going to fight my way out. And then you learn and you grow and you accept, you allow, you learn, you grow, you accept, you allow. And so it's really profound to be able to, the two of us to be able to share these experiences in two very different ways. And it's profound that we've come together and know each other this way. And we celebrated yesterday. We were like, damn, this is, I've been saying for a year, there's something missing that we need to know. And we just kept open and asking. We went down some roads. They weren't always perfect, but boy, did we learn a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's no regrets. There's no regrets, nothing whatsoever. And so as we come back into this now point in time and we move into April, which I'll come into in just a minute, because we want to go through the key code, which is similar to genealogy, Kriba.
It is.
And Norma's going to share her screen. But what is really profound is that we all have an opportunity now, and I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care which government entity I want nothing to do with it. Your signature is a consent to the system. And I'm not playing that game that way. This is my choice to honor. And there's much more behind that we'll be sharing in the near future. So let's answer Kriba's question and then pull up your key code.
Yeah, so it is enealogy. It's like I told y'all, I didn't create enealogy. I just utilized it as a tool because it was something that helped me to understand about the energies. Enealogy is the combination of numerology, enneagram, and astrology, but it was created from an astronomy level of understanding, because there are levels to this. So what this is a metametrics. So it's an extension to that. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen so I can just give you
Yes,
what it
please.
looks like and what it's about. Let's see, share screen. Share.
And it's interesting because it shows you, it shows you what your challenges will be with other numbers. So it's good to know.
Yep.
And it's funny, and it'll tell you what your challenges are overall, which is great. So, all right, go ahead.
So what you see here is that it gives you your enealogy path. It's always going to utilize your life path, which mine is the orchestrator, number 3. Now my destiny path is number 2. So what this does is it brings in an astronomy, which is what is more connected to what you would say the soul level. And then the destiny is connected with what you would say is the astrology that is connected with the form that's in time, because this form belongs here in this realm. So as you can see, for me, I'll tell you what the number 3 is. This path is characterized by a focus on achievement, adaptability, and a strong desire for recognition and success. People on this path are highly driven, image conscious, and competitive. This excel is setting and researching ambitious goals and are often seen as natural leaders. The orchestrator seeks to distinguish themselves through accomplishments and to inspire others through their efficiency and charisma. Now, what this is this is just a generalization of the full, complete understanding of the number 3, because what's happening is it's taking the astrology and the astronomy and combining it in its understanding of the energetic. So the next thing is it's going to go through your childhood pattern. It's going to tell you that you learned that, certain things in your childhood, which set you up for what you were preparing for the next part of your life, which was to get out and begin to have experiences of your own. So mine is like, as given my birth date and things and how they put this metametrics together, is my childhood pattern is, as a child, likely learned that love was conditional on achievements and performance. And to a level and degree, I did. Now that's coming from different aspects and areas, because I must understand I was birthed into a system that I was not given the choice if it was something I wanted to be a part of or not, if it was something I wanted to be able to lead and guide me in my understanding of this place. I adapted myself to gain approval and validation, developing a winner persona, often repressed through authentic feelings and needs, which I've expressed this to y'all before in previous lives, is that in my experience, whenever I would be expressing or conveying how I felt, and it was so deep, and it was just so, fulfilling for me to express myself in that way, most people were not prepared for that level of depth that a being was expressing, because of being birthed into a system that repressed them through the programming, through the educational systems, within structures that has that institutionalization of teaching us that we needed to utilize the systems that were in place instead of being allowed to express the greater aspect of ourselves that was so wanted to become. So as we move on, you see that it gives you your challengings, because when you understand genealogy, it's 1 through 9. These are the archetypes, which are your sun, your moon, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, which each has their days through the week. And then, of course, you have the north node and the south node of the moon. So to understand this is giving you your energetic and your understanding about what you've experienced in this lifetime, in this period in time, to help you understand the energetics of what was affecting you in your choices, given that we were all approaching life with this system understanding that didn't want to allow the soul to become sovereign in its ability to know that it was the reason that this form has life. So when we look at the challenges, it doesn't mean that, for me, as genealogy number 9, which is the arbitrator, may frustrate 3s with their tendency to avoid assertive action and be indecisive. So what this means is that, okay, so this is an energy that I may find as a 3 to be energy that maybe what's defined as negative, but
more challenging to
it would be
interact and
right. Yeah. It would be challenging for me because I am the type that is assertive in my approach to get things done. I'm solution oriented, and 9 just may be one of those that may be challenging for me. In genealogy number 1's, the critical nature, most triggering, given what my childhood pattern taught me, what it was that I took on in my understanding because of I was taught these things. It doesn't mean that it was of a natural understanding. So, and then of course down here at in friends, it says genealogy number 2, which I'm an altruist, so I'm going to connect with those people. And so this lets you know who you work with best and who may be your challenges. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it a part of our growth of understanding energies. So the next one is going to give you effective solutions, can benefit from incorporating structured routines, long-term projects into her life to balance from natural ambition and drive. Practicing mindfulness and gratitude can help her stay present and appreciate the value of each moment. Engaging in regular physical activity that promotes concentration and mindfulness, such as yoga or Tai Chi, can balance her energy and promote a sense of inner calm. So I have put these into action, which helps me be more grounded in my understanding from that level of astronomy and astrology, where I understand that I am existing in time through form, but I can pull from my openness to know that the soul knows things that that the form is understanding how to embody its greater understanding. It tells you about a path of integration and disintegration.
Can I just add a little something in there?
Yes,
so we were talking about this yesterday, how Norma's much more grounded. I was like, yeah, I don't get to scare you nearly as much. Because my way of getting her to be present was I would scare her because she's floating off somewhere, and all I had to do is really walk by in a little bit of a stealth way. And yeah, there's Norma.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of it was because I wasn't present, because most of the time people cannot scare me.
Yeah.
But that was also that I wasn't with people who were present either. So there's that.
Right.
So it also goes in, it'll give you like holistic techniques and herbal solutions, which would be like journaling, yoga, gratitude exercises. It goes into most compatible mates, most incompatible mates. And then what happens is it will go into what's called the strategy to outsmart pitfalls. So this is where you come to understand the negative and the positive of the energies as far as how they affect you as a whole, as from the soul being to the form. So like for this is like mental. engage a regular self-reflection to identify true desires and differentiate them from societal expectations. So this is where we're beginning to understand, okay, so the soul to become must understand that it has to help the form in its egoic level because of the social conditioning that we were put into, whether it be that it was through the institution of education or it be, through the institutions that promoted certain things within, your religious churches and gatherings and things like that.
Or just big families,
right?
Or your neighborhood,
right? So you got to understand, you're birthed into a system where your family was birthed into the exact same system. It was just in a different level. By the time we came in, they'd understood from our parents what needed to be initiated, even that much more so for us coming in after that.
Yeah.
So, and then, in a spiritual, it talks about practice gratitude, mindfulness exercises to stay grounded and connected to inner values rather than external validation. So when we look at the system, we understand, okay, the system taught me that everything that I should feel good about or what made me feel worth was what someone else would say about me or how somebody would describe who I am and things like that. And you cannot, and as much as I hate to say it, you cannot utilize that as something, for there is no real truth in it, for no one understands the understanding that we've been blocked so much to be able to express how we feel. Yeah. So that means that when we express, there's a bit of what you would call a bit of violence in the expression because of the language that we use, for we lack understanding of our language because we're detached from it. Not because it doesn't mean that you lack the heart to be able to express, gratitude or love or anything like that. But what happens is there's a power struggle between the systematic institutionalization of the conditioning and the soul saying, no, listen to me. This is how it is. So it takes time to work through this. Once you read on this, it gives you a metametrics, which tells you that you have an attribute with the value. So, for instance, dosha value is the kappa. So what this does is it says, okay, so what I can do is I can take this. Oh, what is the dosha? I'll go do a little bit of research. Okay, it just tells me what the dosha is. The value is kappa. Kappa is, is a Greek numerology or expression, things like this. So it goes into herbs, metals, trees. These are the things that you can utilize that helps you in your balancing whenever you're doing the spiritual and mental and physical work. So, and then from there, it goes into what they call the God powers. This tells you, okay, so for me, the deity is Zeus. The pantheon is Greek. Description, king of the gods, embodies authority and leadership. Okay, so this gives me a bit of understanding about the energies that I can utilize, because Zeus is, he was the god that was one of the three brothers that, Hades, and then there was, oh crap, the other one just left my mind. Anyways, so when you get to understand Jupiter, it's a Roman pantheon, king of the gods and things like that. Amun-Ra, Egyptian, but you got to understand Amun-Ra is something that changed over time, because history tells you that as things took place and as things were shifting and changing, that as things were coming about, and you would have the churches or the churches and things that were saying, your God is saying that this individual is your king. And then that king would take and it would invade another place and would take over that place. And as they were getting this other area and culture under, their rule, what they told them is that they found out over time, well, we can't tell you that you have to serve our God now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your God and just tell them that, oh, your God is just like our God. We're just going to tell you, we're going to put them together. So when you look at these things, you come to understand that Amun-Ra was an extension, because two cultures were brought together because one was invaded by the other. And I know that's a whole lot of information, but This is what I've come to understand through all of what I've researched and things.
Yeah, and I think what it does for the individual from this perspective on the other side, and Norma embodies it really well, is you get to take that and your experiences in life and now go, oh, you get a new perspective on the things that did happen as well. So
Yep.
it's a tool to get to know yourself better.
Mhm.
And so what would be the biggest difference between this and enealogy, just so that those that know the enealogy will understand?
Well, this is enealogy. It's just a
Okay.
metametric of the enealogy.
Okay. So it's a little bit different breakdown, and yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's something where you have something to utilize. So the information that is put into this, you can take and do your own research. You don't have to, set up an enealogy read with me. What I do is this is what I'll utilize to help you understand who you are, what these energies represent for you, and what how you can utilize them right here, right now, to greater understand the life you've lived, and being able to see it from that bigger perspective and say, oh man, you've got Zeus, Jupiter, and Thor in there, man. Woo! You've got some very powerful energies. So what is the negative and the positive of each of these deities? Because when you come to understand, even Zeus himself had his positive and his negative responses or reactions given what was taking place and what was going on.
And all of them are ways of sharing information, stories. These are tales to be told to help describe different energies so that you could understand. And it's funny because every single country has their own, but they all pretty much cross-pollinate, correlate in many ways for what was going on energetically at that same time. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to understand, you're all these energies. But when you see your life path and your destiny path, what this does, it tells you the energies that was meant to work with you or was going to be what was going to challenge you. So you can't look at these as negative and positive. What you got to look at them and say is, okay, so Zeus was this Greek god that was the god of the sky, but Zeus is also representative of Jupiter. So there's correlation that when you understand the archetype with the deity or the god, whatever it may be, then you begin to understand how the energies that you're within in this place, because that's there's so much beauty to understanding the energy itself, because that is what helped shape this form. That is what helped to create this form by creating the organs that are in here, understanding that the elements that exist, the fire, water, air, wind, or earth, and then the aether that helps to put it together, because everything vibrates at a different level and rate. And given that we are the ones who are observing what's taking place, we define how that happens given what we either understand it to be because we've been taught that that's what it is, or the understanding we give to it because we want to know the truth of what it's showing us. So everything is a folding and an unfolding, because what you're doing is you're understanding the energies and what they're capable of doing when they come together through the minerals and everything that it takes for things to come together, because you're in a wave form of energy in a place that is all energy and elements. And then you have particles. They work together in unison to form something solid for us to touch, for us to experience, and to have that ability to say, I have had this experience, for this is what I have before me. This is what I see. This is what I'm touching. I feel even though this is plastic, it's not the greatest thing to feel. If it would have been silver, because they do have mouses that are silver, and it's a totally different touch, and it's a totally different way of its actions and things like that, and how we interact with these things. And understanding that the purpose of this being here is because we were a part of a time that says, oh, we want to be able to have this because it brings about a certain level of convenience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we could go quite a bit into what's going on in the quantum at the moment and the energies. And that was a beautiful description, because everything is energy. We've been saying that for some time. I think we've said it since the beginning.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and that knowledge is power. But if it's sitting on the shelf, then it's shelf help, not self-help. And hey, I've got some books like that.
Well, like you said, knowledge is power, but you got to understand the soul already comes in with its knowing. Where you begin to embody the knowledge and it become wisdom is through that action, the embodiment of it through your experiences, because that is what gives you your knowing and your understanding to come together and have that beautiful dance, because then you begin to work within the many realms that we exist within, from the soul to the form.
Absolutely, yes. Shelf help. Yeah. It's no good to take information in and not alchemize it for your highest good. And knowing that most of you on here are considered rebels, we all came here to break free, so to speak. Yeah. To become, liberated. That's what we're saying. And for your soul to be free. So absolutely. It's time to let go of the past and forgive anything that is residual within you, including yourself. Lay it to rest. And it's funny that it's the Four of Swords, because we are marching into April. Bahaha. And it was definitely, March was intense for some. I know some that had it, it was intense, but it wasn't like nearly as intense as for others. But I definitely rested more. If I said March Madness, people went, yeah, it was. So, there's been a lot that's happened in a single month. There's been a lot that's happened since January. And so can you, as a soul, knowing that you can be like this Knight of Cups, who's mastering, like, look at those freaking wings on his helmet. And he's got like fish. Is that fish? Yeah, that's fish on him. A little red fish.
Yes.
I'm like, is that a fish or a heart? I'm like holding it to the camera even closer. It's your time to shine, but you got to be willing to let go. In other words, you can't keep repeating the same thing over and over. You've got to be willing to let it go, for then you will have the justice you deserve, so to speak, because in liberating yourself, that is the highest justice. But you've got to be willing to take radical responsibility for yourself.
Yep.
We got the sun. Come on, sunshine. There's me like a little plant today. Oh, thank you, sun. Taking it all in. So, it feels like a new foundation this next month. And that's what it's feeling like because of the information we've come into over the last few days. And we're done. We're done. Like we've mastered. We've mastered what we need to master in these aspects. And now it's a matter of like, if I'm missing a tool, show me. And so we're really specific about some of these tools right now. And then we're going big. We're going for the 11 properties. We're going for conscious community. And we know how. We've got the framework. The new website is being built, so be patient. We're not going anywhere per se, but we're going everywhere. Absolutely. Yes, March has flown by. And so what are you willing to just leave in March and never look back at again? Yeah, it's always felt, I agree. April feels like, it does feel like that new beginning, that new set of the ability to, okay, we went through winter, we shed everything we needed to shed, and now let's go in fresh and see what we can create. And that's kind of feels where it's at right now. It's time to create that which you desire, which is full freedom. No system, thank you. No systems. Just radical responsibility for self. Norma?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for, was to come to understand ourselves in this, and be able to guide each of you to understand how to do that for yourself. Because for the longest time, I thought I was here to save, but I wasn't. I was here to recognize, remember, and to realize that I had the sight to see if I just gave myself the chance and the time needed to self to see the things that I see. And when I look at it, it's beautifully chaotic in the way that I've come to understand it. However, what we want to work towards is, with these 11 properties, creating this, this tribal community that understands on every level that there is a way of bringing back in that harmonious state of being. And that's what we're here doing, providing you with the chance and opportunity to understand what it takes to understand, overstand all of it. Because this is about the balance of the three: mind, body, spirit, and the many other things that it can be referred to. And so that's what we're here doing. And we have hit these major milestones ourselves in this by just stepping back, getting out of our own way, and getting out of the way of the energies that are assisting us, because those energies want the same thing. They want that balance back as well, because they understand that they were witness to the imbalance that was there for so long. To be able to look back and see that we don't want any more revolutions. Not that it's not going to exist. What I'm saying is the truth of the ones of us that are here and saying there's so much more, there's so much better. I just must put in the work and give that energy to self, instead of putting it out by saying, I don't want to be a part of the revolutions anymore, because I understand the wheel for what it is, and I don't want to be in it. I don't want time telling me about my experience. I want an evolution, so I can become that cyclic natural state of being in this experience, and assist the others in understanding what that is by becoming it.
Yeah.
So you move from time, and time ruling you, to utilizing time from that natural cyclic state, where you understand the ebb and flow of the two, and things run and move like a roller coaster ride that is fun. That you understand that even though we are rebels and then there was resistance, what I come to truly, fully understand was I had to understand and overstand that I needed to know the system in order to understand how to utilize the system, so that I may be able to change it. And that's what we're doing.
To sum it up, getting out of the public and into the private. And that's about all we can say on here right now. And I probably have one of the more challenging, because I've got several things set up and organized, but I'm full head all in on it, you guys. I am not afraid of whatever challenge comes up around this, because I already know it's the way to go. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the key. This is the ticket. And nobody's doing anything for you. You have to do it for self. But the beautiful part is we're stronger together than we are apart. And conscious communities being multiple properties around the world, where it's an ecosystem where everybody's a co-creation within it. But that's got to be a pretty stable soul and human that's willing to take responsibility for self, that's willing to not be reactive and get to know themselves, so that they can rebirth, so to speak, and become that elevated soul that they are, and be part of this movement. And it's going to involve a lap around the countries. It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. So we're taking it one step at a time right now. And I, for one, am really excited to do a freaking happy dance down in Sedona on the red rock in the sun. Yeah. Sorry, Norma Jean. I'll send you videos. I'll send everyone videos. Trust me. Yeah. It's, we're down there from April 10th to the 15th. And, we look at the cosmic clock per se and the energies going around. That's just a small part of it. What's more important is what we're witnessing right now is an archaic system trying to hang on desperately. And just observe it. Don't give them your energy. And the hint is nobody outside of you is going to save you. You think someone out there is actually here for the greater good, and they can't tell you exactly how to do it though, can they? But the more of us that stand up and do it and liberate ourselves, well, that is the goal. Yeah. Anything else, Norma Jean?
I don't see time. I see notes on a staff. Yeah. I can understand that right there. Kribla. What I'm most proud of and excited about is T&I's, ability to, no matter what it was that we were, experiencing, what was, was our struggles, was to come to understand that I've come so far in my sovereignty of my soul to get to know that part of myself that gives this form the energy to move. And this form is getting to where it is being so malleable with that, to where now I'm at that next step, because we've been so focused in intentional what it is that we know that is the next step, which now is that liberating part of, now I know that I am so prepared to stand in my own ability to handle all of my what's the word I'm looking for? Affairs.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
do it from that responsible and accountable level, knowing that I built the integrity to be in the position right here, right now, or for me to know that if I hadn't, it would not have become clear. It would not have been put in place in our hands, in our laps, in front of our face for that next level. So we are there.
And it came in random. Let me tell you, it always does. And for some reason, I'm the one. It's funny because Norma Jean doesn't go on social media. I'm the one that handles the social media stuff. But I have this freaking radar for knowing which videos are going to be, or when it's all it is truth. I know when somebody's saying truth. And so I was turned on to somebody that is spewing perfect truth, that everything he said makes sense. And with an opportunity to connect with that, I put in there on the comments, guys, and here, let me put it on the banner. So you have an opportunity to sign up for a Zoom. Once we get us started, just go on the website, sign up for the newsletter. And you know the whole story about the Wizard of Oz. And who was looking for his heart? And who was looking for the brain? We should almost do a whole decode on that now that we know what we know.
There's been many people who's already done it, but it's okay.
No, but this is a different take. This is our take on it, which is always unique. So sign up for the newsletter if you're interested. And, we'll teach all about straw, and I'll just leave it there. You want to do some bales? Yeah. We need to be cautious about how we word things. That's all.
I mean, just that word bail outs. If once you get to understand all this, you'll step back and you'll shake your head and you'll be like,
yeah, how
could I have missed that?
Right.
But it's okay.
There's like so many words like that. There's so many words.
And you'll come to understand that we were never meant to.
Yeah.
but the clues were always there. We
Yeah.
just didn't see, we just didn't know because we just didn't. Some
Right.
did, a lot didn't.
Yeah.
But what I look at is how many of those ones that did actually helped the human race, and how many of the ones that did stepped up and continued to assist the others that were already doing the same. And that's what I question,
Right.
because in my integrity and in the steps that I'm taking is yeah, this is going to do what it needs to do for me. Of course, heck yeah, I've put in the work, I put in the time. I wanted to know this. I wanted to know the truth of everything. We're finally there, but it also helps me to sit back and look at that. I know the big picture too, and I understand what has taken place, and I understand why it's been for so long that it's been the way it has. And I plan to be the one that comes up with the solutions and the change that it takes to bring the harmony back to this world, so that we begin to have life experiences,
So these
not
next
struggle.
generations never need to go through this again. Yeah.
Nope.
And and you are abundant in more ways than you know. Yeah. Yeah. And this is for my daughter, who's always said to me, "Oh, I don't know, Mom. I just need to know I never need to worry about money." And my reply used to be, "Oh, how very Disney princess. Whose child are you?" And now I know why. So, yeah, if you're ready to take radical responsibility for yourself, that you've been waiting years for this new way of being and it still hasn't shown up, it's because you need to do the work. It's up to you to take the steps to do it. No one can do it for you. No one. And what people are thinking is freedom is another form of enslavement.
So just know that I already have um, the the things.
Mhm.
I have modules, or have courses that are bringing modules, that are bringing lessons, that is going to be of the simplisticness of my expression of what I utilized coming to my place in more that simplistic way, so that I may become the sovereign soul that I became, that I always was, but now I am. So I am putting this together this week, the first part, and from there I'll be putting more together. And this, of course, this is for the members that we have within the inner collective. However, once I get this together, I will put them in a packet where, if you choose so, you can purchase them, and it will be in an affordable price.
Yeah.
But I know this much: in order for us to shift our ability to know the gift we are in this experience, I feel that my role and my part is to provide you with that understanding of connecting back with the language in which you use, and understand that it is you, to help you understand communication in a different way, and in an adept way, to where communication becomes of the utmost clarifying conveyance, where we have the ability to come together and convey what we're feeling, and do it freely, where the throat chakra is being unblocked, teaching you more in depth about the energies and how to recognize them and understand them through the programmed way, and understanding that the soul is telling us how to utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there may be another part, but what I'm saying is I'm bringing what I've come to understand in a way where it's more connective in how I'm going to present and guide you with this information than ever before.
Beautiful.
So it's there, it's it's ready to go, because I didn't know what I was doing as far as why I was creating what I was creating, but I do now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And my role in this is the connector, the architect to be able to see the moving parts and pieces and observe everything from where it is. And so I've been working on the new architecture, which will shift as we go through this process for self. And we are able to more freely discuss it, if at all, on here. I don't know. I think we're safer to keep it in the private and out of the public, so to speak, to honor ourselves, really, to not flaunt and say, hey, yeah, I'm over here, because it's my understanding that everyone that's done this has gotten really quiet, because you're going to do it word of mouth. You're going to do it on the grounds, boots on the ground, hence the road trip. But we will be able to say specific things online like this for those that know, or if you know, you know.
Come learn the language and know it so deeply.
Well, this is what all these contracts, right? Yeah. There was a couple missing pieces that we got during this live event that we got to attend. And yes, we paid to attend it, but I knew it was worth it, and I knew it was going to be important. And it was just, both of us just went click, click. And so that doesn't happen very often when you're, not only that, we never sit and listen to things together, ever. It's usually just one. And so I bounced in and out. I packaged up some tea and did my own little, fun crafts there. But there was a lot of things that I was like, this is good information. This is very valuable information. Oh, this makes so much sense. We could see the whole playing board. We were listening to the radio yesterday in the car, and I was like, damn, it's like automatically my brain just went bloop and went, oh yeah, it's this way, and it's done this because this, and this. And I was like, So yeah, we see what's going on. All right, you guys, we're going to let you go for the day. We love you very much. I will be here on Wednesday. Yeah. And Wednesday, I would love to tap into more of these energies for the month. I'll tap into that. We'll do a little live meditation, because that always feels good. Really coming in from this heart expansion with an open throat chakra is where we want to be. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. Clear. Whenever something needs to be cleared, and then my crown goes, whee! So it's like this alchemization within my body that happens, which is really funny. So, all right. Remember, you are loved. You've got this. You've known this. You've known this. This is what you've been waiting for. So we're so grateful and so excited. And feel free to reach out if you have any more questions. All right. Norma Jean, anything else?
Hang in there. You got this. This is your defining time. No, this is your time to get to know more about who you are and all this. And you get the chance, the opportunity to understand and come to fully recognize that you've always had a choice. You're just more empowered now in understanding what those choices mean.
Right. All right. Much love.